Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Unsank Podcast. I'm your host, Lex, and I'm here to help you overcome whatever life throws your way. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Tamera. She is all about confidence and making everybody feel their best. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unsank Podcast, the podcast that's all about staying afloat in the rocky waters of life. I'm your host, Lex, and I'm here to help you overcome whatever life throws your way. Each episode, we'll be discussing a new topic, from healing trauma to building confidence and rising above the waves, all with the goal of helping you become the badass you were always meant to be. So, if you're ready to take control of your life, then Unsank Pod is the podcast for you. Now, let's dive right in because we have some sailing to do. Tamera, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Really, it's an honor.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. I think this is going to be a really great episode. Can you kind of start off by telling us what you do and how you got started?
Yes, so actually, where did I start out of this? So I used to be a teacher in Geneva, Switzerland. That's where I'm originally from. And then I learned life coaching and I started coaching on productivity, time management, productivity, weight loss, dating, relationships. And I saw that deep down, it always came down to self-worth, what we think about ourselves, like what we believe about ourselves, what we give ourselves permission to believe, if we are worthy or not. And I saw so deep down, it always comes down to self-confidence. So I said, maybe this is what I'm meant to be. Listening to my intuition, I've decided to become the confidence coach. And I added the fun in front of it as a fun and confidence coach, because I believe that we take ourselves and life very seriously. And I'm sure we can have much more fun and find more joy in everything we do. I have no doubt about it. So yeah, this is how I came up to to be here today.
Oh, wow. That's so awesome. How long have you been doing it for?
So the life coaching, I already learned it in Switzerland in 2015. And then I did 2 other coaching training. It's an unregulated industry, which I absolutely love, which means that you can learn whatever you want as long as people get results and are willing to pay for the results. I think it's amazing. And so but the fun and confidence coach, it's been really 2 years that I've been focusing on helping people have much more fun and be super confident.
Oh, wow. That's so awesome. So how do you help people with confidence? Like what does confidence mean to you? And like, how do you help people with their confidence?
I do believe that we do want to be surrounded by other people, in life, because the primitive part of our brain that I think still wants to be part of the tribe, because back then, if you were in the caves and you were alone, it means that you're going to die. You cannot be alone back then. So I think this part still wants us to be with people, to be loved, to be accepted 1,000,000%. That being said, I do believe that if we build this relationship with ourselves before being kind of obsessed, wanting to be in a relationship, wanting to have many friends, I think the most important relationship is really the one that we have with ourselves. And it's so important. Then I feel other people are kind of bonuses to this. And yeah, the most important is the way we are with ourselves, which for sure it impacts every area of our life, all of our relationship. Very often, when we look for somebody, or no matter what we're trying to do, it really comes down to self-confidence, because then this is the definition that I believe is confidence for me, is really the willingness and the ability to feel any kind of emotion. Because I believe, goals, or when you get hurt and, from everything also you share, there are some circumstances in the world, 1,000,000%, and some people are really not nice, for sure. And at the same time, what is in our control is really the way we treat ourselves, the way we talk about ourselves. And when we are willing and we have the ability to feel any kind of emotion, nothing can really hurt us that much, bring us so much down, because we have kind of this genuine peace, if that makes sense, that we know we're safe because on the inside, we are comfortable being who we are. We don't let our worth depend on what other people are saying, other people are doing. So yeah, I hope it makes sense, but I think it's just so much more comforting. As much as we can feel lots of emotions, we know we have our own back. Tell me if that makes sense. I got excited.
Well, that totally makes sense. That totally makes sense. The reason I'm doing this was obviously trauma healing and all that. And I think the way that we feel about ourselves has such a huge impact on healing, like you were saying, what we allow into our lives, whether it's friends or romantic partnerships or whatever it is. If you don't feel good about yourself, you let people tell you how to treat you. You allow certain things that you wouldn't in the past. And I've noticed that, like, the way that I felt when I was in my abusive relationship is 180-degree difference than what I feel now. And I would never let somebody treat me that way now. But you have to know yourself and know your worth and know that that's not okay. And which is where people like you come in, and to help us, show us the light and show us that we deserve better. And like that's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Do you like wish you would have this confidence before? What would have been different? You think you would have like lived that relationship? Like what would have been different? You think? I'm curious in that moment in that relationship.
Well, I mean, I think it came down to just like allowing him to treat me poorly, like thinking, I think some part of me thought I would just deserved it. Like he would call me a piece of shit and stuff. And I think some part of my brain had to have believed it and been like, oh yeah, I am a piece of shit. Because if I hadn't believed that, I would have been like, no, that's not what we're doing here. And I probably would have left. But there's also the whole trauma bonding aspect and all the deeper nuances. But I think also if you have confidence in the beginning and you start to see those little red flags pop up in the early on stages of the relationship, there are a lot of little things that happen in the beginning before any of the physical abuse or anything like that happened. And I think if you have the confidence and you do self partner, then you see those things a lot clearer. And like I see them in my friends' relationships now. I'm constantly telling them, like, nope, no, 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 no. See, we're not going to allow that to happen. That's not going to happen. No, no, no. I'm trying to teach them about confidence and about loving themselves. And just like you have to like love yourself enough to say, no, that's not acceptable. And we're not going to tolerate that. So.
Yeah, it's true. And saying no, and at every level, saying no just to a friend or saying no to saying something that is happening in a relationship, or in like bigger lines, like saying no to not wanting to stay with this person, which I have no idea what you've been through, but there is always a positive intention behind wanting to stay with someone, as much as we can know that something's wrong, but still we're staying. But I think like saying no is, I think, so hard because we're afraid of the consequences, like also people having, as I mentioned before, like negative, uncomfortable emotions. We don't want them, to be mad, to not love us. Like many things, like the consequences are, it's hard to just say no, no matter the situation.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I don't know. The word no always triggers me because I said no and I got a black eye. So you want to talk about consequences? That is definitely a consequence, but it's also become part of my healing journey because now I make it a point to absolutely say no to people. And I say no a million times a day. And it's like almost really empowering for me to say no because I couldn't say no before. Like I would say, I don't know. That was how I got around it. I started saying, I don't know. And that pissed him off. He hated it. But I was like, well, I can't say no. So we'll say, I don't know.
And it's so funny because when it comes back to self-respect also, I think kind of when you say no, it's when you say no, it's because we say yes to something else, to ourselves, but often we just don't want to say no to other people, which is so funny because basically we take other people more seriously than us, which of course it's coming from a good place, but it's really like also when it comes to the confidence, like wanting other people to like think something about us or tell us that they love us so we can like tell ourselves that we are worth of love and everything we are basically giving all of our emotional life, everything, like our self-worth or self-love to somebody else that is have less the ability to take care. But like you take care of my emotions, like you take care of the reputation I have of myself, like how I love myself, because I'm not good at it, but we are the best person to do it properly, I think. But I wish when we talk like this, it makes me always think I wish we would learn these things at school. Just imagine 1 hour per week, like 45 minutes a week. It's not too much to ask,
Yeah, that'll be your next step. Start teaching kids. Bring your coaching to classes. Yeah.
It's so true. No, it's just that I think, the impact is so different. Like, I mean, so different. It's so like important in the long run when you have your own back, when you're not always second guessing yourself and wondering if you did something wrong. I think it's just for every area of like every domain, like area of our life, it's very useful for like health. Yeah, actually everything. I guess.
Yeah.
Because for confidence, I just think of this, since we're talking about this, it's like also people that, just giving an example, of want to change their appearance, but it always goes with the idea. I'm not talking only about weight loss, but the idea of really like coming from a place of lack, that right now, right here, I'm not good, or I don't look good enough, so it's like, so I have to do this so I can feel better. And I wonder if we could also feel good before without having to change. But yeah, suddenly I went in that direction. But it's just interesting to see how much, it's work to build confidence, but it's for sure available to everybody.
Yeah. I think it's too where it comes from, because I've noticed like a lot of people get into weight loss and stuff and they just want to be skinny. And I think that ties into the fact of like you still are just looking for acceptance. And I think like the thing that changed it for me is like I've been trying to lose weight or diet or whatever my entire life, and I always fall off because it's all for like a superficial reason. And then this round, when I started to be like, okay, I'm gonna eat healthy, I'm gonna work out every morning, it was really for my mental health, because my brain was just so, I always say it feels like someone put my brain through a washing machine and like scrambled it. And so I was trying to like unscramble my brain. And so I did research on how exercise and fitness affects your mental health. And I realized it has a huge, huge effect on it. And so that's what pushed me, is if I was having a bad day or like something happened or I had a breakdown, I would work out just religiously, and it always made me feel better. And the weight loss just came along with it. It was like a bonus while I was healing. And that's what really got me interested. But like, it's not that everybody has to work out or eat healthy or like be skinny. I think we need to love ourselves where we're at and like accept maybe I'm not the skinniest or maybe I'm not the healthiest, but I still love myself. And if you have that, you tolerate a lot of less crap from people and have those healthy boundaries. And
yeah, no, for sure. And when you're saying this, I also realize when it comes to moving or eating healthier, it's not even coming from a place, tell me if I'm right about this, that it's not coming from a place for you for like to fix yourself, for like you knew you would be better there, but it was really to take care of yourself. So it's like when going out for a walk, it's not I have to do these steps, so then I'm burning calories and all this. It's also going, I'm taking care of myself, like kind of, I read somewhere that our body is kind of a temple, like it's our way to experiment the physical world. So it's also sometimes nice to take care, just also because it feels good, I guess. And again, the self-care, I think it's that easy as just going for a walk. But yeah, it's interesting because self-confidence can look like so much differently for everyone. It's like self-trust, self-respect, but it's true that the self-care and like taking care also of the way what made you suddenly make this change, and how did you continue, because lots of people want to get healthy, like this way of taking care of themselves, but it's hard to do it in the long run. So I'm wondering what switch, you said you got your brainwashed actually, but like how did you continue doing it? Like what went through your mind that said like, now I want to change, and this is like the habits in the morning and everything?
Well, honestly, I just was looking for anything to make myself feel normal again. And so I just went down this rabbit hole of doing all kinds of research, what would work, what wouldn't work, and trial and error. And I just realized like I can't live like this. I can't just like stay traumatized, because like I'm gonna lose friends. I was drinking a lot, like it was chaos. It was just absolute chaos. And I was like, I'm gonna lose people in my life. And so I'm like, I have to do this. It's not that I wanted to be liked, by everyone, or I was trying to get the most attention. I just didn't want to like alienate everyone from my life because I was so chaotic, And so I really just like honed in and was like, we need to get our brain together. We need to put the pieces back together. And so I made it fun. Like you were saying, fun is a huge part of it because it keeps you like motivated. Like I'll listen to my favorite music. There's this DJ I love. His name is James Hype. And so I'll have an hour of James Hype. He has like hour mixes on YouTube. So I'll put on James Hype every morning and just work out for an hour. And, I feel better after. I'm having a good time. You really got to make it fun, because I feel like if it feels like a chore, you'll lose motivation and you won't want to do it.
No, for sure. And I will write it down because I'm curious about the DJ that makes you work out for an hour. I think everybody is like checking now because
dude,
like it looks like it's a secret to the universe to do workout.
Yeah, he's fun. He just like really hype music, and it gets you hype. Like on the mornings, I'm like, oh, I don't want to get out of bed or I don't want to do anything. You put on James Hype, it's like, woo, yeah,
So funny. I'm gonna check it out after, but I think that it makes so much sense what you're saying, because also we can make it fun, and it's also how I like to coach my people, not to make it too serious. Also, even when it comes to losing weight, like being in better shape, people think that people say it's gonna be hard. I think, of course, it's hard because we have negative, uncomfortable emotions, because the brain, the motivational triad, it's like the brain, again, is wired for survival. So this is why we want to save energy. There are two more, but now I forget, like save energy, minimize like effort, for sure. It's the same, I think. And make sure that you keep safe, so you don't go out of the cave, you don't try stuff, to make sure you don't feel these negative emotions, because the brain thinks you're going to die, So I think this is hard to go against the brain, what it's wired to do. So like people say, it's going to be hard, because it is true that the brain is telling us just stay safe, stay on the couch. And I believe we can kind of have it all. Kind of something that I absolutely love, and it's a coaching kind of little trick that I absolutely love, is if I would be that person, the one that is dancing, that is doing the workout in the morning for an hour, which I find very impressive, like who would I be in that moment? Like what would I be thinking? What would I be feeling? Because very often then it's kind of, if it's the person that is doing the workout, maybe they feel dread, but they just carry it in like heavy purse. It doesn't stop them from doing it. Like people think it's black or white. I have to be super motivated. No, you can also, some days maybe you do still want to stay in bed. But as I saw today, you woke up early, so you do wake up, to do it. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be horrible. You can make it fun. I agree with you.
Yeah, you kind of have to I don't know, I'll give myself little rewards and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the music always motivates me. I've always had a huge connection to music. Music always is a great motivator for me. But little treats, if you do, if I clean my house, I can have chocolate or something. Or if I go and I eat healthy for a whole week, then I can have a burger or pizza or something on the last day. Or just kind of enforcing that motivation and that whole thing to kind of keep yourself on track. I don't know, whatever. Every person I think has something that works for them, and then just finding that thing and holding on to it. I've kind of tried to mind hack myself and figure out what works for me, and I've gotten myself into kind of a pretty good system, I think.
Yeah, no, it's right. And I think also to remind everybody, and also ourselves, that it's also okay. There are some days you feel really not good, like just one day at a time. That it's, I think, what we do every day, sometimes people say it's not one meal that's going to change anything. So at the same time, again, it's the all and nothing thinking, that it's not a day that's going to change everything. If you eat, for example, a lot, it's on the whole life, it's not only, and at the same time it does. So it's just to take it, take the best, leave the rest, not to make it, I think, too serious is really the secret here. And making it fun, for sure. I think something that is sustainable, if you can still do it today, it means that you can do it, for a long time, I guess. But by the way, your name could be definitely a name of a famous DJ, like, who are you going to see tonight? Like, Lexi, did you see she's coming to town?
Yeah, no, I'm just getting started. My artist name is Lex Stassi. So I was born in Uzbekistan, and my birth name is Anastasia. So it's kind of a combination between my name and my birth name, and kind of paying homage to that and being adopted. And I love music so much that I thought, why not be a DJ and have fun, and my end goal is to tie somatic healing into it and talk about how music and dance can heal the body and the mind. And so, yeah, definitely exciting stuff coming in the future. So it should be good.
Yeah. But it's so funny that without knowing that you had actually a different name, which maybe you mentioned on your Instagram, I need to go back to your bio. But it's funny that without knowing this, I saw your name and I said, this sounds like a nice Avicii. Well, all respect to Avicii, I hope. I wish you a better future. But it's just interesting, But it's just so interesting how being confident, it brought you to another place. How would you describe for you, being confident for you? Yeah, what's your definition of confidence? Just to see how it completes.
Of confidence, probably it would be just believing in yourself regardless of what's going on around you. You're good, you believe in yourself regardless of what's going on around you. Even if you're overweight, you know that you believe in yourself enough that you can lose the weight, or you love yourself and believe in yourself enough to not tolerate bad behavior from others. And it's really self-respect and having boundaries and the confidence to say, I don't care if this person doesn't like my opinion. I don't care what this person thinks of me. I'm going to do me. And if you have a problem with it, there's the door. What is confidence to you? Like, what is your definition of confidence?
Yes, so I think it's also something very important and interesting. I think it's important to not label ourselves, not identify ourselves with the way we look or the way we, we are not our thoughts. For example, when we think I'm not good enough, it's not because we have this thought that it means that it's true. So I like to remind myself that I'm not what I'm thinking. We really often think like we are what we're thinking. Like, for example, people say, I love actually this question. Somebody asked me recently, like, why people have less confidence than others. And often what I coach people on, I saw that people describe themselves like I'm an insecure person. Like they basically identify with the fact that they are not confident. So what is interesting, and it's also kind of what I'm using a lot in my coaching, is based on cognitive behavioral therapy, that our thoughts create our reality. So if we think this, and it's okay to think it, but we believe it to be true, like, yeah, I'm anyway not too good enough, or I'm not worthy of love or anything. Like, just imagine two people, like one person that is thinking this, one person that thinks something else. We show up differently in our day-to-day life thinking, and then we look for evidence of it even like true, because the brain is, again, it's a cognitive bias. And I read a book, but it was in French, so cannot give the reference, but it was 30 cognitive biases. So it's like the shortcuts that the brain does, because it's impossible to reinvent the wheel every day. This is why it treats information very fast. I heard also that 95% of what we think today is what we thought yesterday, if we don't pay attention to it. So it's just very automatic. It's an efficient tool, the brain. But yeah, so to answer your question, I think confidence is really also like not believing what you're thinking, because then we really act in the world and show up according to, like, following what we're thinking. And I think we don't have to. We can always make a change, like we can always, people, for example, say I'm always late, and I never give unsolicited coaching, but I'm always kind of smiling a bit in my head, because like your people continue being late because they identify themselves as somebody who's late. So there's nothing else to expect when this is what you think. But yeah, it's just interesting to see how much thinking influences our life. And again, it's this little nagging voice in our head that is talking all day long.
Yeah, you definitely have to pay attention to that voice and pay attention to what you're hearing in your brain. You just have to kind of be just self-aware of not identifying yourself as anything negative, and it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
Honestly. But yeah, no, I think it's like I always identified as like not good enough. And then finally I woke up one day and was like, what would my life be like if I didn't believe that I wasn't good enough? Who told me that? Why do I think that? And then just deciding that no, I am good enough, and I'm good enough to do the things. And it's almost like allowing myself to go and do the thing. And so the mind is a very interesting
Yeah, it's
thing.
interesting. And I think sometimes people want to go from like, I'm not good enough, to I'm the best person that I know. I like something that is not too believable. And this is the best is actually to, I believe also that our thoughts create our feelings. So it's like trying clothes in a store. So if you try, I'm such an amazing person, and yesterday you did not tell yourself this, and it's really hard to believe it. It's like trying it on like a sweater. Like, does it feel confident to think this thought? So the middle one, we call it ladder thought. It's kind of like just thinking I am, which makes you not an extraordinary person. But we use it a lot in weight loss. For example, people that think, for example, I don't like my body, and they want to go like, I love my body. And it's the middle one could be like, I have a body, something that is more neutral, more believable, because it goes with the idea, as much as we want to feel better, improve ourselves, which I think it's all the aim of personal development, and I'm such a passionate of it. I love it. And at the same time, it's important, I think, to validate, like to find a neutral place in the middle before loving yourself. This is why I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, or like it's now the past is behind me. It doesn't say anything about the future, but this is where I am, kind of finding acceptance before falling in love with ourselves. But it's so true. It's just so easy, I think, to hate ourselves, because like the brain, it's another cognitive bias that I love, is going to look for proof, like evidence for everything we think, because again, it's just super efficient. So when we think I'm not good enough, even if it's unconsciously, the brain is going to find evidence of it. So it's so good that you mentioned before, I'm going to think I'm good enough. And then you try to find like even 2-3 evidence. It's completely kind of making the other thought, I'm not good enough, floating away because you found proof. So maybe it's not true. Maybe I'm a bit good enough, something that is more like believable. It's interesting, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of how it started, just kind of accepting like I don't feel good enough right now, but I could, and then finding things like I worked out today. I kept my commitment to myself, or going to work, getting to work on time. I kept my commitment to my job, or like keeping commitment and showing yourself like, no, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and then just slowly building those things over time, I think has a huge, huge impact.
Yeah. No, it's so true what you said. It's like the pyramid, like it's what we said before. Some actions don't really matter. And at the same time, they do, because they build up over time. Like then you can find proof. And this is what I like to look back at the past only for things that really serve me. Like things that I do think that like back then I felt confident, and what was different to, today, for example, if I don't feel too good about myself. But yeah, it's free to look at the past, but only if it feels good, to find proof of how you were already worthy back then. And I have this theory that I think resonated with people. The newborn, it's like maybe a few hours old or young. They are so young. And when you think about it, the newborn didn't do anything, didn't say anything, didn't achieve anything. And it's so valuable and important into everybody's eyes. And when you think about it, they are the most vulnerable ever. They are most annoying because they cry and they're like just basically like eating and it's coming out, but they are so valuable. They are so worthy. So this is why I like to think that we are all worthy. It's just our worth is absolute, and we are just grown-ups newborn. So I think it's a funny way to look at it also.
That's true. That is very true. I never thought about it like that. You're right. Like we think babies and infants are so pure and precious. And then, as we get older, we kind of lose that. But you're right. We don't have to. It's not like we lose our value as we age, even though society might tell us differently because of ageism and all that wonderful nonsense. I mean, I even feel it a little bit some days. Like I'm getting older. I'm 28. I'm almost 30. I'm not old by any means. But like my body is starting to change. I'm starting to get wrinkles. My makeup isn't acting the same way it used to. And I'm just like, oh my God, what is this? And so kind of like accepting yourself every step of life, and I see the most beautiful old people, most beautiful elderly people, like they have beautiful souls. Oh my God. And it's just like those people don't lose their value. I get the greatest kick out of these people. They light up my day. They're like 80 years old. It doesn't make them any less valuable. They're valuable to me because they bring me joy throughout my day.
You mentioned the old people, like, because it's true that we have also so much respect, we're like, yeah, they are very wise, and like we're taking care of them, and it's exactly the same as, they did actually all of their life, but it's so interesting. It's true that the worst, so you would agree that we're worthy no matter what, no matter the wrinkles. And
yeah, I think society needs to stop judging us as we age. I don't think we lose our value. If anything, we gain value because we gain knowledge throughout our life through life experiences. And the more life experiences you have, the more knowledge you gain. I went through hell and I feel so much wiser now, to where I'm coaching my friends on their relationships and just being like, I can see bullshit from a mile away now, and just be like, no.
Yeah, that's amazing. And by the way, I'm so glad to hear that you're 28, because Avicii passed away when he was 27. So now it's like you're out of it's okay, you're good. Because I wish you the same.
I outlived Avicii. Thank you for putting me in the same category as Avicii, though. That's an honor.
I am, but with a better future, I promise you. Like, I mean, and even more successful, which is it's interesting. You like all of the DJs, or like, I mean, all of them, just because it looks Avicii maybe is a different style of the one you listen in the morning, or it's the same kind of.
He is kind of the same that I like. He's a house DJ still. My favorite genre, I would say, is house. But there's so many different like sub variations of house music, even like James Hype, the guy that I listen to every morning. He is kind of a different style from Avicii, but they're both still house, if that makes sense. And so all the little different nuances and stuff that make musicians different, they're all unique, they're all special, they're all wonderful. Like I've been getting into techno recently. Like, so that's been cool. I never thought I'd be into techno, but that's fun. And I've been researching a lot of music from my culture from Uzbekistan, and that's really cool.
Have you been there?
No, I was adopted at 9 months. I've never been, but it is one of my goals to definitely go and like check it out and see where I came from and get more used to
Yeah.
the culture. I've been doing a lot of research and it's a really cool country, honestly. It's really
Yeah.
super cool and absolutely gorgeous.
It's so interesting. I think I heard so many like people. I think it's a great place to ski. You know, as Swiss people like to go there to ski. And in Switzerland, I used to have lots of. It's so funny because Switzerland, you have people that are Swiss probably because like the parents moved there, but most of the people are coming from all Europe. You know, and we had in class for sure like a few kids from Uzbekistan. So I always like was curious about like traveling there one day for sure. It's on my list. Like the world is so big, you know, so rich. Like well, we went out of the confidence, but I think when you're confident, you can go to travel.
Well, I mean, I think, you have to have confidence kind of because you're going to a different country where you don't speak the language, maybe, or you don't know anyone or anything. So you're going to be going up and talking to strangers a lot, asking them questions and stuff.
True.
And that can be kind of nerve-wracking sometimes, just walking up to someone and be like, hi, can you help me with this? Even asking for help can be hard sometimes. People just don't want to
Yeah.
ask for help. I'm one of those people. I hate
Yeah,
asking
me
for
too.
help.
I was going to say, and as I'm the
I hate
confidence coach, and I'm like, no, and I don't like to do this. I feel like I'm disturbing. You know, we all feel.
Yeah, exactly. I think that
Yeah,
comes
that's
into
funny.
play with confidence because I feel like if you're confident, you don't feel like you're disturbing anyone because you're just like, those are the questions that I have. With
For
my
sure.
music friends, I'm constantly asking them questions. How does Ableton do this? How do you do that? How do you, to try to learn? I'm just like, I don't want to bother you, but I do also have about 1,000,005 questions, and they're all
Um,
amazing people, and they're always down to help me and answer any question I have. And they're constantly like, "No, Lexi, you're not bothering us. We're more than happy to help you." I'm just like, okay, cool, that works.
yeah,
You
but
know.
I also think the no, when you think about it, it's like two letters, and we give it so much meaning. Like it's not, and this is also something that I like to think about. It's not really what people are saying; it's what we make it mean. So if somebody's saying no, it's really like, oh, I'm not loved. They don't want to hang out with me. Like it goes with so many. These are the real problems because no, I heard, I don't remember when it was like no is it means no right here, right now. But like I mean, it could be another time, and also no to I also read it really like 2 days ago to detach it from the person. Sometimes we say no to the request. Sometimes if you're in the grocery store, somebody's asking you a question, you just don't know, so you say no, I don't know. But I mean, sometimes we really make it mean so much about us and our confidence when it has nothing to do with us. And if everybody, when it comes to the people pleasing and saying no, if everybody would genuinely do whatever they want, just imagine it would be so much kind of easier. I know it's like people want to help others, but I think what is interesting about people pleasing is that often people, from what I saw, so with my clients, people want kind of are people pleaser because they believe that at some point you have to do things that you don't want to do. But the problem is that if everybody's thinking this, then we're stuck in a circle because then everybody is like doing things they don't want to do. But I like to think that every time like I'm saying no, it raises the value of my yeses because then
Mhm.
when you really want to do stuff, people are like, yeah, Lex, she's in because she's really there instead of being like half there because you also want to be loved, I guess, for who you truly are. So I think this is why I'm not in team people pleaser. I'm against it. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm a recovering people pleaser as well. I always want to say yes and just appease people. And I think that's kind of what got me into trouble too. It's
It's
like I'm
true.
constantly like, oh, let me just make everybody
Yeah.
happy and oh, that's fine. And so the power of the word no is like it's a very powerful word. Yeah, man. I love saying no now. It's like one of my favorite words. I love it, man. I
Yeah. And
say
it's,
no every opportunity I get.
they say like no is a complete sentence, which I
It
really love.
is.
And I think that because we sometimes then over justify and then it sounds like if you're hesitating, people may like open the door, like, hey, see you hesitating. So I agree with you. And then I have to say that then if you say no and actually people still want to hang out with you, it means that they really like you like this. You know what I'm talking about? Then you're really liked for who you are. This is when I am 33 now and I feel like passing 28 to 30 I have less energy for like people that don't, after meeting with them, you don't have to feel like inspired and uplifted, but like at least they're adding something. If you feel bad after seeing somebody, maybe it's like, I mean, we can just make choices. I think this we're still available, like it's available to us. But yeah, it's just interesting how you said that now you say no a lot. So to what do you say yes to? I'm
Um,
curious.
Usually for me right now, I say yes to my commitments at work. Things like this is always a yes. Anything involving the podcast is always a yes. I still say yes to my friends' shows. Like I'll go and support my friends and like DJ, but if I'm tired, when somebody wants to hang out and like it's my day off, or if I have to record a podcast interview, or like there are times when I have a day off, but I need to work on the podcast or I need to do stuff for me. And people are like, oh, Lexi, do you want to hang out? But I'm like, no, it doesn't mean that I don't love you. Of course, I still love you.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
have to worry about my priorities and I have to worry about me right now. So it's just kind
Yeah.
of like that balance of having boundaries and time and planning and making time for your friends, but also making time for yourself.
Yeah. And when you mentioned boundaries also, like I wish somebody would tell me this back then, that boundaries, I think they can be set from a place of love, not from a place of like I have to stop them from doing. I think boundaries are for us and not for others. It's like, okay, I'm deciding this, but for myself, I think we can always choose to feel the emotion of love for. It's like making decision from a place of fear or a place of like just for love for yourself and for, the commitment. Like I think looks like a very reliable person, which is one of my most important values. So I really like what you said about commitment for work. So yeah, I agree with you. Like it's just like just setting boundaries. But I think there is also a difference between somebody saying, no, I cannot. I'm saying no, like kind of being a bit excited, and you can feel on the inside that they are like they don't want to say no, but it's harder. Like saying, no, I'm doing this, but let's meet next time, and then you're not even nobody wants to attack when you're so much at peace with what you decided for yourself.
Yeah, I think just putting yourself first and knowing that even if you say no to your friends, that they'll still be your friends and they'll still want to hang out with you. Just sometimes have to put yourself first and even ahead of your best friends. But
then people can get inspired and do it for themselves too. So I think it's a win-win scenario, I think. And I like also to ask, like, to think also what's the alternative. Then you do things and then you're kind of resentful and then you're hanging out and it's not what you wanted.
yeah,
Not sure. I think at some point in life, like I'm telling you, I think from a certain, like not a certain age, I'm exaggerating. Like what you said, I'm 28 and I'm not old. It's exactly what I mean by that. But just saying, like, sometimes you also choose your battles and like you just want to choose what you're doing and like kind of live in integrity, I think. But it's important to just know what's important for you and to, yeah, because then we are mad at other people that did not ask us to do anything, but we just have resentment.
like if you say yes and you don't really want to be there, people could feel that you're not really there mentally. Yeah, you're there physically, and yeah, you said yes. Mentally, you're like, I should have been doing laundry, or I should be, like cleaning my house, or I should be working on this or that, or like I just don't really want to be here. And people can pick up on that. So it's like definitely good to say no to what you want to say no to and say yes to what you want to say yes to, because then you can give your whole energy to that, and then that's more authentic.
For sure. Well, it's crazy if in your like relationship you would have said no most, like more, I wonder where would you be. But I think we also get to a place for a reason, so like it's not like again, if we look at the past and we don't feel good about it, I don't see so many upsides. But it's crazy to think like if I would know what I would have known, things would have been different.
I mean, I don't regret it. It was crazy and everything, but I don't really regret it because, it led me to be a much stronger person. It led me down this whole path of confidence and healing, and it made me want to start a podcast, and it brought me to this moment right here, and I wouldn't change it. Like even if I could go back, I wouldn't change a thing because it's all a learning experience, and I think the universe puts things in your path for a reason, and everything in life happens for a reason, and so here we are and we're doing it and it's great and hopefully it helps people. So
yeah, I hope to. And I'm so on the side of what you said with the universe that like I so believe in. This is also why thought creates things, because the universe, when it hears you, like also the idea of manifestation. And I'm really interested into this, that we don't also manifest what we want, but we manifest what we believe. So this is where it's so important to pay attention to what we're thinking, which is all I think in the same. Like some people say, manifestation, it's too spiritual, too woo-woo, but I do believe that the reason why you, for example, live where you are today, it's because of what you're thinking. So I don't believe that, like I think manifestation is kind of gravity. It's a thing that no matter what you want or not, like it's you creating, like thoughts create things. I really believe it. So yeah, so for confidence I also believe that it starts in what we're thinking. So
what we think has a huge effect on us and everything.
Which is very empowering, I think. Then it means that you don't have to achieve anything or to get to a certain point. You can just like choose to feel confident because you have a thought that is backing that feeling up. Like, I mean, just thinking that, yeah, why not me? And then you can feel a little bit 1% more confident.
Yeah. I think that's a huge thought, why not me? Because like with starting the podcast and DJing, everybody else under the sun is a DJ, I was like, screw it. Why not me? Let's add another one. Why not? And like, even if it fails or whatever, and it's not like the greatest thing ever, at least I tried. At least I put myself out there. We only get one life, or like, depending what you believe, or reincarnation and all that. But like, the main focus is this life right here. And I want to live it to the best of my abilities. And I kind of like zoom out, and I'm like, if I'm on my deathbed, like, what do I want to leave on this earth?
Yeah.
What do I want to accomplish before I die? And so I wrote down a list of everything I want to do, and I just said, screw it. I'm gonna do it. Like, even if it doesn't work, whatever. At least I can say that I tried and I did it, and so
Yeah, for sure.
think,
And just for the fun of it, again, not then you can make it mean anything about you, like you achieved this goal. So
yeah.
Sorry, that it means anything like you're good enough or that you're committed enough. I think also just you can think this out just as of today. And then most of the time when we embody that version of ourselves, that we will give ourselves permission to think like, yeah, I'm a DJ. Just imagine again how you would show up differently when you already have this thought, like you believe it, of course, but like I'm on my way to be a DJ. I don't know, something kind of fun, of course, check how it's feeling. But I think this is how also it works to like create the reality. It's just super interesting. I think it's just, again, much more fun and serious than like having strong habit and accountability, like it just sounds like funnier, I think, in my opinion, and lighter. Like I think it doesn't have to be so serious.
Yeah, like I love music. So it's really just like my hobby of just like what I do when I'm stressed or whatever. Like if I'm having a bad day, I'll just start practicing just because it makes me feel better and it's fun. And like, luckily I have really cool friends and it's kind of taking off, and it's honestly even gone further faster than I thought it would. And so like, that's kind of cool to see.
Amazing.
So maybe I will be like a VG someday. Who knows? If I'm not a VG, cool. If I turn out to be like a VG, great, awesome, whatever.
Yeah, it's true. You will remember me, I hope, at this time. I will say,
Of
I
course
know you,
I
and you will be
will.
like, and you will be like, yeah, I know her. And I
You're
will be
coming
like,
backstage. Don't even worry.
thank you so much. No, also it's funny you saying this because I'm learning American Sign Language because I want to
Oh wow,
be able
how
also
neat.
to coach. Yeah, I want to coach people also on like that. I used to coach somebody that could not see and like that was blind. I'm just trying to say politically correct because I don't want also to define them by being blind, but it was the reality. So I was able to coach them because of like talking. So then I said, but who can I coach also like? And then I started to learn. So I wanted to say this, that in the long run, I also want to be a coach. And as you can see, I'm a fast talker, I speak very fast. And when I'm learning sign language, people like they speak so fast. So I think the universe like teasing me, like, you see, you're talking so fast and now it's hard to follow the signs. And I cannot imagine, I don't even live in the US. So I mean, like the DJ dream, everything seems so far until it's accomplished, until it's like at least fun to do. So just to say like I'm following you is like I have no idea how I'm gonna get there, but I have a feeling it can be fun, and just making sure to keep it fun while you get there. But it is funny, so we'll probably meet because I'll come to the US to meet people, because I first thought that sign language was all over the world, like if there could be one language that could be international, but no, you have sign language for every, like for the US, for England, for France, for Switzerland. So I'm starting with the US because my 80% of my clients are there, but then I want to learn the French one also. So thank you.
Wow. That's so cool. You could be my signer if I ever get famous. You can come on stage and do my signs for me.
It's true for the DJ,
Yeah.
No, because I'm telling you, it's so unique that you want to do this. I think, like, also again, without making it mean anything about you, like I have to get to this goal, but I think it's just fun to do it. I think it's different from what other people are doing. So I think it's inspiring for everybody, for sure.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah. But what you do inspires me too, because I didn't even know that like you could have a confidence coach. I just thought it's something like you develop on your own. So that's really cool that you're out here teaching people about confidence and fun, because I feel like, especially with the podcast and everything, I want to show people that healing can be fun, because I feel like everything, like when I was researching healing and abuse and trauma, everyone's so serious, and you gotta like heal, and you gotta meditate, and you gotta be serious all the time. I'm like, no, screw all that. Like, yes, that's important stuff, but like we need to have fun, because like when you're going through trauma, it's just like you're in such a dark place and everything, that like we need the fun, we need the light, we need like music, and like let's dance, let's enjoy this, like let's just dance our way out of the darkness here.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And I will tell you, I think that everybody can build that confidence like on their own. I believe like nobody need coaching and everything, just because like people want to, like they know they are like their life, they are meant for more, and they feel like a bit like kind of hopeless, helpless, and powerless. And I think coaching is just shortcuts, like to get you there. I have two analogies, but the one that, people go to the gym, I think it's so important also to take care of your brain, even it's kind of a little trainer, but for your brain. So like just to pay attention, to point at what you're thinking that creates the result that you currently have. And if you want anything to be different, you have to look at what you're thinking, which comes to my second analogy, that it's like a brain surgeon, comparing myself to a brain surgeon, like a brain surgeon that makes its own surgery. Like it's hard to have surgery on your own brain. So this is why like coaching exists. I think we live in the best time ever, because like professional athletes all have coaches, and now we get coached like on our lives. So this is why, and the fun part, of course, it's just the cherry on the cake, I think.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's so awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I know you have to get going soon because we have another coaching session and
saving the world.
Yeah, get back to work. No, I'm kidding. But one more
fun.
Quick question before I let you go. What helps you stay unsank the most? Like what helps you stay afloat and keeps you positive?
I think it's such a good question. I just think that I would say to not believe everything I'm thinking. Like, again, when you have a thought like this day is gonna like be very hard, like this is just a thought that your brain again wants to keep you in bed. So yeah, I think the idea really for me, I hope I answered the question right. Sorry, with the language, instead of learning a sign language, I should just learn the American one, the English one. But I would say really just to not believe everything my brain is offering me. We have 60,000 thoughts per day, and I think that we don't have to believe everything we think.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lex, really, for having me. It was really fun, honestly.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. Keep in touch. Let me know how everything's going with the sign language, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this amazing episode of Unsank Pod. I hope that you found inspiration, healing, and the courage to rise above the waves of life. To stay connected and receive updates on future episodes, follow us on Instagram at unsank.co and unsank.pod. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at unsank_co. For additional resources and information, visit our website at unsankco.com. You can also find our episodes on popular podcast platforms such as Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, and many more. Before we part ways, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to all of you who have shared your time with us. Your openness and willingness to explore the path to healing have made this podcast truly special. Keep healing, keep growing, and keep spreading the light to those around you. Take care, and remember to stay unsank.